Welcome to Backwards Book Club. We read the book so you don't have to, and if you want to read the book, you at least know what to expect.
If you're like me and you don't have time to read, this is for you.
And if you're like me, I thrive on spoilers, I like trigger warnings, I like to know what's coming.
And if you're like me and everyone's talking about a book and you're not really sure if you want to read it, we'll let you in on what's going on.
This week, we're going to talk about If He Had Been With Me. So the book starts with this car accident. And what we know is that Finney was driving, his girlfriend Sylvie was in the car, and they get in this car accident. It was raining and they were arguing about something, but we don't know what. So then there's like a huge jump in the timeline. It goes back to like the very beginning when Autumn's mom is pregnant with her and Finney's mom is pregnant with him. Both moms are best friends. They went to like school together. They're pregnant at the same time. They give birth like a week apart. They live next door to each other. Autumn's dad works a lot, so he's in the picture, but he's like always busy. Finn's dad is not in the picture at all. And so it's always kind of been like the moms and the kids. And they do like holidays together, birthdays. They always combine their birthdays, and they go to elementary school together, and they're always in the same class. They always sit by each other. And their friendship never made sense because they're like kind of polar opposites, but it makes sense because they're basically siblings. Finney has always been like the cute, funny, popular guy that is like athletic, and he plays soccer with the boys at recess. And Autumn refers to herself as like pretty but weird. And she'll like read a book at recess, and she like sits on the side while like Finney's playing soccer, and she's just like reading her book, which
sounds like my childhood.
Did you read it recess?
I taught myself how to snap at recess. And to whistle.
So they've always like had each other back until middle school. For whatever reason, well, we know why, because Autumn is very pretty. She starts hanging out with the popular girls. And Finney is kind of hanging out with like the geeks. And so there's like just a like divide between the two of them because they're hanging out with different friends. In elementary school, they had every class together. In junior high, that's just not possible. Right. So they kind of just like naturally drift. And Autumn likes being popular because she's been called weird her whole life. And so she doesn't want to hang out with these geeks. They still like have combined birthday parties. They still spend holidays and dinners together. Like they're still close at home. They're just not close at school. The last year of middle school, before they go to high school, the popular girls are like, hey, we gotta try out for cheerleading. Like I just feel like that's so stereotypical. Like the popular girls are the cheerleaders. But again, Autumn likes being known as like popular, but like deep down, like
she's not fit for the task.
No, exactly. Yeah. She likes to read. She likes to write. Like she's not a dancer. She's not a gymnast. And so she decides not to try out for cheerleading because that's not her, which like that's amazing that she was able to be like, my friends are doing this, but I don't want to. Like
in junior high, yeah.
So like you're proud of Autumn, but because she didn't try out for cheerleading, she's out of the friend group. Which like I was reading that and I was like, why are girls like that? Like it doesn't have to be this way. But she just loses all of her friends except for Sasha, who did audition for cheerleading but didn't make it. So Sasha's also on the outs. They get to high school and the popular groups are no longer there. She never hangs out with them anymore, so it's her and Sasha. And then Finney actually starts hanging out with the popular group because he's the only freshman that makes varsity soccer. So automatically he's like, oh, you're the cool freshman hanging out with these seniors. He starts hanging out with the cheerleaders because he's in like, he does sports. Like it makes sense. So he's hanging out with these friends that kicked Autumn out. And so then it like kind of puts a bigger divide. Thankfully, Autumn has Sasha though. Her and Sasha just find this group of like misfits where it's just like random people like, hey, she's in my English class. She's going to come eat lunch with us. He's my cousin. Like she finds her people and they like, I just love them so much because their like whole premise of their friend group is to do like uncool things and make them cool. They went to like homecoming or something and somebody was crowned homecoming queen and Autumn was like, well, I didn't get the crown, but like I can still wear a tiara. So like her whole high school career, she just wears a tiara every day because like that's kind of weird, but she like makes it cool, right?
Every
And,
day
like,
she wears one.
Every
I
single
like
day.
Autumn.
We love the
We
Misfits.
love Autumn. Oh.
And we love Autumn. In this group of Misfits, there's this boy named Jamie, and both Sasha and Autumn are interested in Jamie. And so you can imagine, like, it kind of like, I like him, you
Makes
like him.
Love triangle.
Mhm. Autumn does pull ahead and starts dating.
I just made up a new word.
Starts dating Jamie.
But
Great
Sasha
group
and
of
Autumn,
friends.
it didn't ruin their friendship.
No,
Oh.
did not ruin
Okay.
their friendship. Finney starts dating a girl named Sylvie. This puts like a bigger divide because it's like, oh, we're going to the fair. We're not going as a family. I want to go with my boyfriend. He wants to go with his girlfriend. Like it just like things just happen and they like basically are no longer friends. Like even family events are awkward. Before in middle school, it was like we don't hang out in school, but we hang out
can
at
still
home.
talk.
And now it's like they don't even talk. Like it's just like they're not friends. And now it's just like
As the moms, I
awkward.
would be like, "What the heck? You're making Christmas late."
Well, they would. That's why they kept asking, like, what happened? There had to be an event. And they were like, nothing happened. It just, like,
We just grew up.
life, right? Autumn and Jamie progress fairly quickly. I mean, Jamie tells Autumn that he loves her fairly early on before Autumn's ready. But then, like, eventually Autumn's like, no, I do love him. And so, like, they say I love you with, like, for sure the first year that they're dating. They're physically active, but not sexually active. And, like, Jamie's always kind of trying to, like, push it farther. And Autumn's always like, I'm not ready. But thankfully, Jamie, like, respects that. But he still, like, pushes it. And then Autumn says no, and he backs off. And then he pushes it, you know? So, like,
Annoying, though.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And the whole time she's dating Jamie, it's almost like she's trying to convince herself to date Jamie.
Yeah.
Like, she genuinely likes him. And there are moments where she's like, I am so in love with him. But then there are other moments where it's like, is this love? I don't really know. And so she kind of like goes back and forth all the time. And she actually starts comparing Jamie to Finley. And so then it's like the whole time where it's like, oh, like Jamie's criticized me about this, but like Finney would have thought that was cool. That like doubt creeps in a little bit more.
Yeah.
But then like she's still dating him because she's like, no, like that's just love. Like sometimes you love him so much, sometimes you can't stand them. This is her first love. She's trying to
She
just doesn't know, right? So in this time, Autumn and Jamie celebrate their 1-year anniversary, and Jamie is like he loves her so much. He is so sweet to her. He gets her a charm bracelet with 2 charms on it. One is a heart with a date that they started dating, which is so cute and sentimental. The second charm is a turtle
Love turtles.
because they're going slow and steady.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
I don't know, or is that him shoving in his face like, you're slow?
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
I thought it was sweet and sentimental.
I love turtles, but I was a little offended by that charm.
Slow and steady. Like, not going
We
moving
keep
fast enough for you,
running.
bud.
We're Team Jamie. So then it's Christmas break, and of course they're hanging out as families Christmas Day. Finney gets her a tiara. Remember, she wears tiaras, and it's like her favorite tiara. Like sweet things happen, but like still they're just like that's the only time they talk. And like Jamie's cute because he gets her a shoe rack.
But
Did
you just hear the words that came out of your
Yes,
mouth?
I
Like,
did.
if someone has lots of shoes, that's a very
No,
Oh.
it's to display her tiaras. And so it's like, okay, he's like
Alright.
accepting of her, like he's trying,
Uh-huh.
and he genuinely loves her. He does.
Okay.
There is one night where it's like this big deal that Aunt Angelina, who is Finney's dad, wow.
Interesting. That's a plot twist.
Alright. This is
We
getting
are
good.
allies, but this is not part of the story. Finney's mom is dating somebody new, and it's like this boyfriend that she's really excited about, and so she wants to have both families together to meet this new boyfriend. Early in the day, Autumn goes sledding with her friends, goes down this hill with Jamie, goes off this jump, hits her head, comes home with a black eye. Her friends freak out. She puts an ice pack on it. She's fine. She's laughing about it. Jamie, the jackass, is like, oh, you have to tell everybody that I hit you and that's why you have a black eye. And Autumn's like,
What the hell?
well, you are the reason why I have a black eye, but why do we want people to know that you hit me?
Why
Like,
would you want people to think you're abusive?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, he thinks
Jamie,
it's funny?
I'm sorry, Jamie. To me, I'm not Team Jamie.
Yeah.
He's a weirdo.
When she goes to school, like, that's what she tells people, like, oh yeah, Jamie hit me with his head while we were sledding. But like, she like gets people's
Stops,
reaction, you know, and Jamie loves that.
Yeah.
But because of this, she's late to dinner. She walks in and everybody except for the boyfriend is like, what happened? What is
Yeah.
wrong? And Finney especially is like super attentive. He's asking her all of these questions. Like, he knows like the concussion protocol because of soccer, right? And so then the boyfriend who's trying to like get in good with Finney is like, oh, you really know a lot about this stuff. Like, maybe you should be a doctor when you grow up. And Finney's like, oh yeah, I've actually thought about it, which is the first time Autumn's like, oh, like, this is new information. I didn't know about Finney. And so as like Finney's giving her the ice pack, Autumn's like, so a doctor? Oh, well, I'm probably gonna be a teacher. And Finney's like, a teacher? Like, that's not you. Why are you gonna be a teacher? And Autumn's like, well, it's more practical when Jamie and I get married and we start having kids. Like, he wants me to like be home with the kids. So like, I can't be a writer. I have to be a teacher.
Is this
And
like
so-
a strike 10 for Jamie or
I
something?
know.
Yeah,
I know.
we're up there.
And Finney's even like,
The turtle was like
5 strikes.
the turtle was
If
killed.
I had known you
The
guys
black
would
eye
hate Jamie,
won.
I
The
would
turtle
not tell you
fight.
about the turtle.
No, I was Team Jamie until
I was
the
too.
black eye.
You start seeing these glimpses of like, well, no wonder Autumn's like trying to convince herself to date Jamie. Her dream when she was in like 5th grade, her teacher asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up. She wanted to be like a barista in a coffee shop and then write in the evening. And her teacher's like, oh, you want to be a freelance writer? And that's the first time Autumn's like, I do? And then ever since
Now it has a
then,
name.
yeah, right?
Marry Finney and he'll
Well,
be the doctor,
no.
make all the
I'm
money,
on
and
team,
you
you
just
don't-
be the writer.
I mean, it works out for some people, but you don't decide who you marry in freshman year.
I wanted to be a school bus driver when I was little.
You still can.
You still,
I still can.
You should. You would be
I
the
absolutely
cutest
should.
bus driver.
And I'd be super nice to
I
those
would
kids.
feel so safe.
I would
feel
too,
like-
definitely.
Yeah, I want my kids to ride.
I've never
bus.
gotten a ticket.
I can't say that. Oh, we don't talk about
We
I have,
definitely
I have
can't
excellent
say that.
credentials.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, uh-huh. Yep.
Because I have a grandma car, that's probably why.
Uh-huh.
You should be a bus driver.
I should have, and I could say, hey everybody, happy too.
It's not. I see you being the bus driver that has like a handshake. Like, you need
With
to
each
take your
Yeah,
hand.
I would love
kid, yeah.
each kid. New dream unlocked.
Okay, so now it's junior year. In this time, Autumn goes to one of Finney's soccer games. During this game, he gets hit and he falls down. And of course, her mom's freaking out. And Autumn's even like, oh, I hope he's okay. And he stands up, looks for them in the crowd, finds them, and he yells, I'm okay. In that moment, she realizes,
She has feelings.
I'm in love with Finney. I've loved him my whole life. So keep in mind, she's with Jamie, who's her first love, and Jamie treats her well, besides the black
She
eye.
has no reason to
Yeah,
break things
and
off.
Finney is with Sylvie, and they're not even friends. And so she's like, I've loved him my whole life. Like, of course I have. But like, she's also like, I'm not going to do anything about it. He's with Sylvie. We're not
a
friends.
good
Like,
thing.
but it does make things awkward. Because before she could just like be in the same room with him, sit on the same couch, watch a movie, and like not even give 2 thoughts about it. But now that she realizes she has feelings for him, now she's in her head. In the winter, Autumn's behavior and mood starts changing. She's tired all the time. She's irritable. She comes home from school and sleeps. Her favorite class should be English. She hates English. Things have changed. Remember, her mom has depression, so she knows the signs, and it's what's the word?
Hereditary.
There it is. Yes. Mom comes in and she's like, hey, I think you have depression. I made you an appointment with my therapist.
Like, let's get you help.
Yeah, exactly. She is diagnosed with depression. She goes on antibiotics and they do help her.
Antidepressants? She goes on antidepressants or antibiotics?
Why would she go on Did I say it wrong?
You
You
said
said
antibiotics.
antibiotics.
No.
I love how
She
you
has
face in that moment. You're like,
You're like,
what?
why would she take
Like, why
antidepressants?
would she take-
I even was like, no, she takes antidepressants. Like, I was like,
You're like, you're an idiot.
I was like, why are you pulling antibiotics out of nowhere? We're talking about depression here, honey.
Then what did they say?
I'm not actually sure I said antibiotics.
We have
No, we have footage. You totally did. Like 100%. You was like, did I just hear that right? So when you said it, I was like, okay, good. I heard that right. Like, and you were so sure, like, antibiotics.
You're like, duh.
And when you said antidepressants, I was like, why antibiotics? You all knew what I meant.
We did. You can't edit that out.
I just didn't want the 2 viewers that we have go to their doctor and be like, I need some antibiotics.
I hear the cure, what I'm struggling with.
I mean, that would be amazing.
Oh, that would be amazing.
My cheeks hurt. That was so hard. Oh man, antidepressants. Okay, which does help. She is still with Jamie. Jamie is starting to pressure her more and more because
together for 3 years.
and there are other people in the group who have had sex with their boyfriend, girlfriend kind of thing. So he's like, it's like,
Everyone's doing it.
yeah. Well, and it's like, it's not uncommon for your first time to be in high school, but Autumn's just not ready. And she like has to convince herself to date Jamie. And like she still has not processed her feelings for Finney. Like it just is not the right time. And she wants her first time to be like special. And so she's kind of like romanticized this moment of like, I don't want it to just be like in the back of your car. I don't want it to just be like while we're sneaking around while my parents are fighting. Like she wants it to be a thing. So she kind of just like placates him and it was like, let's just wait until after graduation. And Jamie agrees. And so thankfully, like he has always
some time.
Yes, that bought her some time. And he has always respected, like when there's a boundary, like he might push it, but he never like
Crosses.
Yes, exactly. And so like you kind of just know.
The one nice thing about Jamie.
I know. So now we're to senior year.
Okay.
Autumn and Finney have lifetime sports together. It gives them permission to like start hanging out again.
Yeah.
And they have like a lot of fun together. And like Finney's very athletic and Autumn is horrible at sports. But like she never feels embarrassed because she's like, oh, it's just Finney. And so it's like you kind of start seeing a glimpse of like elementary Finney and Autumn. They have like built a bridge. Autumn is in an English class with her favorite English teacher. Remember the one that she was like the teacher pet. And she has a writing assignment to write about her strongest memory. And so she writes about a time in middle school when she was hanging out with the popular kids. Finney was hanging out with the geeky kids. I feel like it was like the first year of middle school when they were kind of like navigating like we're friends but we're not friends. But over Christmas break, they hang out every day because they're friends at home, right? Yeah. And so it's New Year's, and guess what happens at midnight?
They kissed?
They kissed?
Yes! But it catches Autumn totally off guard. And in that moment, as like a middle schooler, she's like, why did he just kiss me? Like, did he just want to like get his first kiss out of the way? Was he just like wanted to know what it was like? Like, what was it? And so that's kind of when you're like, oh, that's why things were like kind of awkward between them, because it came out of nowhere and she has no idea why Finney kissed her. And they never talk about it, which communication. They kiss, they go inside, they never talk about it, and pretty much they never hang out again except for like family events. This happens, she's in Lifetime Fitness, she recognizes that she's in love with him, she remembers her first kiss was with Finney, like emotions are present, right? And so now it's Christmas break, and the class that they were taking was only like a semester long. And so Finney's like, I really liked hanging out with you this semester. Like, I'm gonna miss seeing you every day, every other day, whatever it was. We should hang out more. Like, we should go to a movie sometime. Autumn's like,
she says no.
I don't think that's a good idea. And even Finney is like, but doesn't Jamie hang out with Sasha all the time?
Good point.
And Autumn's like, yeah, but like it's not weird.
That's
like
different.
It's a different thing. But like it's different because she has feelings for Finney. And so like there's like a small foot in the door and then like the door slammed right back closed, right? During senior year, Autumn's parents get a divorce. Which, like,
I
you
didn't want it to go to
expect.
that point, though.
But like, you're sad. And like, remember, Autumn has depression. Her mom has depression, has been hospitalized for her depression. And so like, things that are like big events are bigger once you
Yes.
have depression.
Mhm.
It doesn't like send her spiraling, but it definitely like doesn't help her depression,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And like, after she finds out that her parents are getting divorced, she calls Jamie, who doesn't answer. And so she calls him the next day, and he's like kind of irritable, like, what? I was sleeping. And she's like, my parents are getting a divorce. And he's like, oh crap, sorry, why didn't you call me yesterday? And she's like, I did.
You didn't
And
answer.
Jamie was hanging out with Sasha.
We're not Team Jamie anymore.
Like,
Mm-mm.
you don't
We've turned
hate,
her. We've turned her.
you don't hate Jamie at this point.
We
though.
do, Debbie.
I
we
do.
do.
That's
There's like
the reader,
6
you
red
don't.
flags.
As the reader, you
Well,
don't.
As the listener, we do.
And in
I
this
was-
time, Jamie is becoming like more and more irritable with Autumn. And he even like starts making comments kind of like Autumn's depression is like a bother to him. Which is like
So
the worst feeling for
Yes.
anyone to feel. But like speaking for someone that has depression, like feeling like I'm
A burden.
a burden is
Mhm.
like, it's like the whole reason why people with depression never reach out for help,
Right.
because they already
Yes.
feel like I take up too much space in this world, I'm just gonna cry in my corner so I don't burden anybody else. And the fact that she's like has somebody to reach out to is huge, that not a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And so for him to be like, stop being sad, just get a happy light and things like that, you're kind of like, oh, like that's the worst thing to say
Yes.
with somebody who's going through it.
Mhm.
And there's even like a point when like they just had prom, they're seniors. Do you remember what's happening after graduation?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so like Autumn even like brings it up, like, hey, maybe we should talk about it so we feel more comfortable. And he like shuts down the conversation. Like, I'm too stressed with finals, I can't talk about this right now. There's tension, right?
Mhm.
So then they graduate. Autumn gets a call from Jamie. Hey, we should meet up, kind of thing. And Autumn's like, okay, this is it. She gets all dolled up, does her makeup, looks super cute. Jamie comes and she can tell instantly in his face. Jamie breaks up with her, right? And in this conversation,
Uh-huh.
he says something like, you want me to be everything for you all the time and I just can't. We also come to find out
He's with
Jamie had slept with Sasha before
Sasha.
prom,
Do it.
which is the biggest betrayal ever.
And of Sasha too.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's what I mean. So now they are done so. And Autumn feels so betrayed by her best friend, by her boyfriend, and now with her like group of misfits, she's like, are they team Jamie? Are they team Autumn? We don't know.
Plus, it's like, what did you know? Did you guys know this?
Yes,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
Yep. And so like she just feels like she has no one to turn to. I mean, she does, but like I can kind of see how she feels that way. Her depression hits like an all-time low. She stays in her room all the time, isn't showering. She only eats because she has a mother that brings her food. It gets bad. Her mom has tried multiple times to like get her out of her funk, and it's just like nothing is working. Because when you're in like a slump, like nothing is gonna pull you out of that. So one day her mom comes in and says, hey, get ready, Finney's coming to take you to ice cream. And then Finney, driving her home, is like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? And she's like, you know what I'm doing tomorrow. And he's like, hey, I'll pick you up at this time, we're going to breakfast. And then they just start hanging out every day, and he just slowly helps get her out of her slump. Finney and Autumn have always been best friends, and so of course Finney's gonna be there when Autumn has no one else to turn to. Who is there?
Yeah.
Her best friend. Finney is still with Sylvia at this time. She's like traveling all throughout Europe. There is one night where her and Finney have plans to hang out, and Finney's like, hey, I'm gonna invite my friend Jack. He's my best friend, and I don't like that two of my best friends aren't friends. And there's one point where Finney, I think, goes to the bathroom, and Jack turns to her and goes, what are you doing? Are you just messing with his head again? And she's like, what are you talking about?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I remember how it was in middle school, and I don't want that to happen to Finney again. Like, I have to have his back. And Autumn's like, what do you mean happened in middle school? And he was like, he was in love with you and you totally broke his heart. That kind of like sparks something in her. And so she has this like idea for a story. When she finishes the story, Finney's like, I really want to read this story. Finally, she's like, he's gonna read it sometime, like no better time than today. And it takes him like all day because it's like a novel. And she is over at his house while he's reading this story, and eventually it like gets late. That like they had hung out the whole summer together, and so like they were to this level of comfort already. And so Autumn is like, I'm getting tired, I'm just gonna go sleep in your bed, wake me up when you're done. She wakes up, all he says is, why didn't you tell me? You find out that this story is like the alternate reality of like what would have happened if Autumn and Finney didn't stop being friends. They would have dated all through high school. She would have realized her feelings so much sooner. They would still be together now. Autumn was like, I had no idea you had feelings for me. Like, they're finally communicating. You find out that like Finney started hanging out with the popular girls because he was like, oh, like I'm into sports, they're cheerleaders, we hang out after practice. If I hang out with these girls, I'll get to hang out with Autumn. Had no idea that there was this fight. Come to find out that these girls blame everything on Autumn. And then Finney was like, well, I just like, you started dating Jamie shortly after, so like I never did anything. And Autumn was like, well, you started dating Sylvie. And he was like, I mean, I liked her, but like I never liked her like I liked you. And so then they kiss, and you're like, finally! But keep in mind, Finney is still with Sylvie. Okay?
Oh,
But they kiss. I know! It's like this like moral code where I'm like against cheating.
Right.
But also
it's Finney.
Start kissing and it kind of starts getting hot and heavy. Right?
Where's the moms?
Oh, they...
As a mother, I'm like, where are they?
I mean, they are graduated. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
they are adults.
They-
Like, come on.
The divorce is officially finalized, so Aunt Angelina took Autumn's mom on, they're like on a wine retreat or something.
Yeah.
So they're gone. Autumn like wants to go for it. They're like kissing. Finney tells her that he loves her and he's always loved her. He's never stopped loving her. And Autumn says it back because remember she realized in
She knows it.
junior year, and so they sleep together. So perfect that like her first time was with Finney. It's just such a special moment, right? Sylvie comes home the next day. Finney's like, I gotta go break up with Sylvie. I just want it to be done and over with so that like our story can start. Which like,
Yeah, we get it.
and like Finney had already decided previously that he was going to end things with Sylvie. He just didn't want to do it over the phone. You gotta respect the guy. But then also like in this moment, I think I'm team just text and break up. He already like
or
was,
just wait to actually sleep together until the next day after you've broken up with her.
yeah, but
But in the moment,
Yeah.
it's like a good.
I'm gonna spray you guys with posts.
he already was like not invested in the relationship, was pulling away, and so like that's not really fair to Sylvie to have like 3-4 weeks where her boyfriend's like, we're done, and she thinks that he's like fully invested. I think I'm kind of team like
Just do it, and then she can find some Italian guy.
yeah, but like you gotta respect the guy that he's like, I gotta do it right now, and
Right.
I gotta do it in person.
I think it's
Yes.
points for that.
Right? So they're like kissing goodbye, and the moms come home and catch them kissing. This is like official. Like we're like boyfriend, girlfriend, go break up with Sylvie. Finney drives away, and as he's driving away, it starts to rain. Remember, this car wreck, it was raining. Finney and Sylvie were arguing about something. We didn't know what it was, but now we know.
They're fighting because they're breaking up.
Before Finney left, like Autumn's like being that like needy girl, like don't leave me, and he's like, the second I'm done, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna sneak into your room, we'll cuddle all night. And so Autumn's like laying in bed, like excited for him to come. She hears him walking down the hallway, hears him open the door, but then there's like a pause, like he like doesn't come to the bed. And so Autumn's like, Finney? But it's her mom, and all she says is, oh, Autumn,
And then the book ends.
Finney had died.
This is the kind of shit where I support this book club because now
Now you know why I cried myself to sleep.
I'm not gonna read this bleepy book.
book. Okay, but that's not the end. Autumn is already diagnosed with depression.
It's a sign.
That's how it feels.
So all of them are depressed. Angelina, her son is her like pride and joy. Do you want me to pause?
No.
I'm
like
rage. I feel like this is very telling of how this is going. Can you please
I'm
just
rage
finish?
cleaning.
There's one night that the moms are hanging out and Autumn is there and she sneaks out, goes to Finney's room, which nobody had been in since that night, tapes a note on the door. I think you can gather what's going to happen, right? Thankfully, she wakes up in the hospital. But before she did, you know what? She had convinced in her mind this is what Finney would have wanted. Her depression was so bad, she was not taking her antidepressant. Like, she truly believed this was the only option for her. So when she woke up in the hospital, she realizes it was an attempted, you know what?
Yeah.
She's already planning her second attempt. Then the nurse asks, when was the last time you had your period? And Autumn's like, I don't know.
She's pregnant.
And so then she's like, I can't attempt again. Finney would never forgive me. It'll be okay. I will have the mothers. I will bartend. I will be a waiter. I will be a barista. And I will get to write. And so in a way, it's kind of like a bittersweet ending because with Jamie, she wasn't able to have her dream of writing and being a barista. But now, because of Finney, she is able to have her dream. And that's how the story ends.
That is a roller coaster book.